Saraçoğlu neighborhood located in heart of the city Ankara is the first mass housing project in Turkey designed by German architect Paul Bonatz in 1940. The construction ended in 1946 and from 1946 these houses became a home for many administrative officials and superior soldiers as intended before. Bonatz has born in 1877 in France. He graduated from Munich Technical University from Architecture Department. After his graduation, he started to work in Munich City and Regional Planning Department with Theodor Fischer, a German architecture and teacher in Munich Technical University. In time, he gained experience in different positions, and one of his famous work is Stuttgart train station. In 1943, because of the German regime, he left from Germany and decided to settle in Turkey. 1 year ago, before he settled in Turkey, he was one of the jury members for design competition for Atatürk Mausoleum. Between 1946 and 1955, he taught in Istanbul Technical University and designed many successful works including opera and ballet building in Ankara. It's hard to identify his architectural approach since he used different approaches for different types of buildings. For example, his approach towards residential buildings were more traditional, but for public structures, he interrupts the traditional approach with more modernistic way and creates more monumental style. After Ankara became capital of Turkey, the immigration towards Ankara has increased, and the existing residential blocks become insufficient for the new population. Saraçoğlu Housing Group came out to prevent residential crisis in Ankara, and it constitutes an important example of the national architecture movement. In the settlement world in 1920, Germany tried to bring the Siedlung movement. The architect designed the social area, which offers a playground, primary and secondary school, and the public library continues open spaces as well as the residential blocks. Row houses with 642 units with 2, 3 and 5 rooms, planned with 6 different types, were constructed at different types and heights. The residential blocks have 2, 3 or 4 floors. The reflections of the Turkish houses theme, which was developed by Sedat Hakkı Eldem as a proposal solution in the search of national architecture of architects in 1940s, can be seen in the external forms of the houses. Saraçoğlu neighborhood recently became a subject for many different controversial topics. In 2013, government claimed that these buildings having a risk of collapse due to the natural disasters, and after that, Saraçoğlu houses start to be emptied, and since 2016, the neighborhood turned into a ghost town.
Well, I lived there about 8 years, maybe 9.
I lived in Sarajevo from 1964 to I think 1976, like 12, 13 years.
Been there for 10 years.
It was very unique actually. We were living in the heart of the city, very much heart of the city. And within this city center concept, it was a real neighborhood. The lifestyle has many options, I think. This for young and for children and for parents, they were all our friends are knowing each other?
Well, that's interesting because we all were, I still remember, were very, very glad to live in Sarajevo. And I think it's because of a special reason that it had a very interesting culture of its own. And not only from the environment, but also from the people who resided there.
When you said Sarajevo houses, I immediately think about a neighborhood life. That means not only an accommodation place for you, it's also a life.
Well, it's my childhood, and that's first of all that's why it's so special because I was a child. We were kind of same family, same children, and we were playing football, basketball, and neighborhood wars. It was really a peculiar living style there, especially for children.
Well, having lived in my, from primary school to university, in a very nice area, we had a lot of extremely deep friendships and very, very good memories. So it was like a heaven for us. And in the district, in the 4th Street, for example, we had a very Spartan type of culture. Like the first kid who moves to the area had to be beaten. And it was a shock for me as well. But the moment it is done, it was a sort of rule to become blood brothers. So at first welcome, beat, and then we become blood brothers. And that blood brotherhood, continued for such a long time. And that solidarity and freedom was still remembered.
I think I'm always a professional while evaluating such kind of things. Friendship is very important for me. But on the other hand, professionally, I can say that the location of Sarajevo was really very important for me. It was very close to every kind of cultural facilities, cinemas, theater, to my school.
When we are living within this area, of course, we were not aware of that condition. But when we move from that neighborhood, we realized how designed it was, especially when I in high school years, I realized this importance of the design. Actually, we were in walking distance to schools, the great schools. All the schools also were designed very well. We had a library there where we had a kind of children's koro, papatyalar korosu. We were going there and singing. It was, a kind of a community center.
To an extent, probably yes, because it wasn't just apartment blocks side by side. It was, blocks with a lot of greenery in between and lots of area space for which you can convert into many other social activities.
The physical features or the plan of Sarajevo itself offers a lifestyle. And this lifestyle combined very harmoniously a modernist and occidental, perhaps, model with Ankara citizens. So this was very important. So in one hand, you are learning something through this space, but on the other hand, you can live your own cultural values within the spaces that is created for you.
History, I think, is a thing that makes the place a place, let's say. It's empty houses and all new buildings is not a city. City must have a kind of long tradition and historical roots, and this neighborhood is very important and should be kept as it is.
A lot of things, not only from personal memories, but for me, it represents the architectural and the culture of the area of the Second World War times, and they're nice, and they should be kept. Like, I mean, it is a treasure for Ankara, even for Turkey.
I think today the symbolic value of Sarajevo differs from group to group. Some are sharing the idea that Sarajevo is a very important physical and cultural heritage area for all of us and for the city. But on the other hand, and they can think that we should conserve and somehow keep this asset. But dollars are shining within the eyes of some others. Yes, it's quite possible to revitalize the neighborhood, but unfortunately, as you mentioned, there is even no right to think about a revitalization for this moment. In the existing situation, the neighborhood is emptied and there is no right to make any project on it. But very briefly, I can say that as professionals, instead of all the way complaining from this situation, we need to develop innovative projects and processes. Innovative is very important to show that alternative action plans can be feasible and profitable for both city and citizens.